Hi, I'm Pat Brown. I'm a co-owner of BrownKnowsPepo, and we take videos. We take documentaries of your life story. No doubt you have many wonderful stories that you would love to save for your family, your grandchildren, and maybe even generations. And we would love to do that for you at an affordable rate. Other things we can do is a video will to go along with your written will, which is of course your legal will. And we can also do videos, stories of your animals, your little family animals. And we can do small functions like birthday parties or things of that nature. We can also do end-of-life stories. And those we do with sensitivity and confidentiality. We're very tuned in to that end of things. And we'd just like to give you our name again. It's BrownKnowsPepo. And our phone number is 507-721-0112. That is 507-721-0112. Thank you. Hi, I want to tell you one of the stories in my life as an example of some of the stories that you have that you'd like to tell. I'm going to tell you a story about my Uncle Jim. I loved my Uncle Jim. He did many funny things in life, but mostly because he had such a curiosity of life. And he was very funny. He did many funny things. And one that sticks out in my mind, first I guess I should give you a little background. He had 6 children, him and his wife, and they lived in a small farm community. It was a small town, but a farm community, where everyone in the small town had their own septic tanks. And my Uncle Jim, because he had 6 children, and he didn't make a lot of money, he had to make his dollars stretch. And so one day, the single bathroom they had in their house with all those people became clogged. Well, that was kind of a bad thing to have happen, of course, but he decided he wasn't going to spend the money to have somebody come out and drain their tank, which he thought there surely should be more room in there. And so he decided to take matters into his own hand and see if he couldn't just figure out something to make that work. So we all followed him out into the backyard where the septic tank was, and he was going to take the lid off and look down in there to see if he needed to have somebody, if he really needed somebody to come out and empty that. So we were all standing around. He took the lid off that and he looked down there and he says, "Oh man, it's so dark." And then he took out of his pocket one of those big lighters, and before we could all scream, "No!" he lit that big lighter, and there was this sound like, whoa, all through the town. And we were all kind of shaken, and Uncle Jim had been thrown about 6 feet. And we were all, of course, frightened that he'd gotten hurt, so we all ran over, and he sat up, and all the hair right here was gone, and his eyebrows were gone, and he looked really stunned, but he got up. He walked in the house, and we all followed him. We were sure he was going to lay down and we were going to have to take him to the doctor or something. And he went into the bathroom and he flushed the toilet, and it flushed really well. And he said, "There, it's fixed." Then he went and laid down.
Hi, I'm Wayne. I'm the second half co-owner of BrownKnowsPepo with my wife, Pat. And what I wanted to do is just take a few moments to relate a story in our life that we had that might be interesting to you. Oh, probably about a year after our first daughter was born, Lisa, we were invited to go up to northern Arizona. We were living down in Phoenix, up to the White Mountains, and join the families up there, Pat's mom and dad and brothers and sisters, to go camping at a place called Horseshoe Seneca. Well, we went out and we bought us a nice good-sized tent because Pat's sister and brother-in-law were going to stay with us in the same tent at night. And so we got that, and we drove up there. It's about a 4-hour drive from Phoenix or more, and her folks were already there, and they had their travel trailer all set up, and her other sisters came and were set up, and brother was there too and stuff, and we were just having a really good time. And we got the tent all set up, and we had our sleeping bags in there, and we made sure that Lisa was going to be nice and warm, just being a little one. And her sister and brother-in-law were in there with us as well. His name was Bill, my brother-in-law. So we all had a good time, had a good meal, and then we went to bed at night, and we climbed into our tent and sleeping bag. Well, in the middle of the night, this huge ruckus arose. You could hear this yipping all over the place. And my wife, Pat, sat up straight in bed, and she hollered at the top of her voice, "Run for your lives! The Indians are running cattle through the campground!" And my brother-in-law, Bill, said, "Shut up, Pat, go back to sleep. It's just coyotes howling in the middle of the night," and that's what it was. But I think that was really, really funny. Another thing that happened there at that same camping trip is at the lake that was always stocked with trout and other things, we were down there, and we knew from other trips that they had crayfish there. And we were going to catch crayfish and boil them up and have them with dinner that next evening. So we were down there, and there was a bunch of young boys down there, probably 9, 10, 11 years old, and Pat said to them, they came over and said, "Well, what you doing?" She says, "Oh, we're trying to catch these crayfish. We're going to cook them up and eat them." And she says, "You know, they're really, really hard to catch, and we just don't think you young guys could do that." And they all said, "Well, yes, we can." And before we knew it, we had a pretty good-sized bucket full of them and stuff, and we rinsed them out, cleaned them up, and cooked them up and had them for dinner as well. So this is just a little example, too, of what you could share with your loved ones as well. The stories of your life, and so it can bring back memories to them as well. So again, we'd like to ask you if you would like to have one. Our number is 507-721-0112. Thank you.